Hey Tyler, it's Nicholas from Radio Nation. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing good. So can you hear us a lot better now?
Yeah, it's so much better.
Perfect. It's a lot better on our end too. So we're going to start the interview pretty much from the beginning again. We did talk about, your early childhood. So if you want to just sort of touch on again, how you're a self-taught musician. So if you just want to touch on again, how you decided to, or I guess how you found out that you could, play all these instruments, and how you were influenced by playing all these instruments.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said earlier, music has sort of always been a part of my life. And I've just always been singing since I can remember, and I've been writing since I was 11 years old. And I found out probably when I was about 10 years old that I can play by ear. I just was playing my grandmother's keyboard, and then I was just like playing all these Christmas songs that I knew, and then from there I just picked up the drums and the guitar as well. And I picked up the guitar because in Nashville, when you're playing at like a lot of venues, it's really hard to sort of, if it's just you playing, to be setting up the keyboard, and so many people are doing acoustic sets, so I wanted to be able to be more versatile, I guess. So.
Now, you moved to Nashville at the age of 5, and like we said earlier in the show, almost like a blessing that, in a weird way, that you did have to move there because your grandfather was having cancer, or had cancer at the time, and you sort of is a good fit because you're a country singer, and so you have to move to probably the best place to do country. So talk to me about that and what that experience, I guess, was like at such a young age.
Well, yeah. I definitely feel like moving here definitely is why I'm so involved in music. I think that if my grandfather hadn't had cancer, which was the reason that we moved here, is so that my mom could be closer with him at the time, I don't think that I would be really involved like I am now. I mean, I've always wanted to be a singer and a songwriter since I was really young, from the age that I moved here, which was 5, but being in the music industry is so much different than a regular job where you can just go and hand in an application. So the way that it all got started for me was that I was singing, I did a lot of stuff around town, like singing in the worship band at my church and doing school talent shows and youth group and all sorts of different stuff. And so a lot of the kids that lived in the same town as me knew that I sing, and I was singing at a school talent show in high school one time. And then one of the girls who heard me told her mom just about me and my singing, and her mom works in the music industry, and that's sort of how it all happened. I think it was just the right timing type of thing, and a little bit of luck, but also, that I was putting myself out there, because even though it wasn't doing like professional gigs and doing the type of stuff that I'm doing now, I was still not just sitting back thinking about singing, but I was going and singing.
What's been the biggest challenge for you then since, you began your career as a musician?
Can you repeat the question one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure. What's been the biggest challenge for you as a musician so far in your career?
I would say that the biggest challenge for me has probably been just adjusting to the lifestyle that being in the music business requires, because I'm constantly going, but at the same time, it's not something that like wears you down, because I'm getting to do what I love, and it's so much fun. But it's different because before I was doing all the stuff that I do now with music, I was doing completely like the total opposite. I was like wanting to always hang out with friends and do other stuff, and so you sort of have to make sacrifices to like reap the reward of this. And so I think that's probably been the hardest thing, but at the same time, I think that's totally worth it if in the end you get to do what you love.
You've been had the chance to write with some pretty solid names there, Jason Bloom and Stephen Mitchell and that sort of thing. So what's that experience been like for you?
What type of what? I'm sorry, that's turning a little fuzzy.
You've had the opportunity to write with some pretty well-known names, probably down in Nashville and around here too, with Jason Bloom and Stephen Mitchell and those names. What's that opportunity been like to work with such talented people?
I'm very thankful that I get to work with, all of these people. I never really expected for it to happen. I've just always, just tried to work really hard for it. And when I get the opportunity to work with people who have had such success that they have had, having cuts with today's biggest artists, and, I'm working with someone that has a song, #1 song on the radio right now. It's really cool because I know that I can learn a lot from that person, and, I just try to soak in everything I can, sort of just try to be a sponge in that moment and leave that situation feeling like I grew and like I developed.
You've got an upcoming show in Lebanon on July 4th. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm playing tomorrow, actually. We're playing at the James E. Ward Agriculture Center, and it's there's going to be like a big fair going on for the 4th of July, and there's like 6 different stages, really big stages that are going to be set up, and they're just doing music all night long, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You
also got a couple other venues as well. Two more shows coming up. Later on in the weekend, July 6th and 7th. Do you want to talk about those performances as well?
Yeah, I got invited to do the Teen Hoot this year, which I'm like so excited about. I got to go to the Teen Hoot in February, and what it is there's a bunch of up and coming artists, and a lot of them have been found on like YouTube or around town, and they're all playing at this place called Rocket Town in Nashville. And this one is actually a 2-day event. It's the Hoot Festival, and it's just gonna be so much fun. The last one was crazy. There were over like 2,500 screaming girls in the audience. It was just like so much fun. And the first day, I'm playing on the sticks, and I'm actually debuting a brand new song of mine called Superhuman, which I'm very, very excited to finally sing live for the first time. And then the 7th, on Saturday, there's going to be a meet and greet for about 2 hours, I believe. And that's just like going to be so much fun as well, because you just get to interact with the fans and take pictures and meet everyone and just give hugs. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
You draw a lot of...
Actually, people can...
Go ahead, sorry.
The tickets are on sale for the event on www.teenhoot.com. You can still get them, and so if anyone wants to get their tickets for the Teen Hoot, it's going to be so much fun, so I would definitely check it out, and check out the other artists that are playing as well. It's going to be a blast.
I've had a chance to look at the Teen Hoot site, and there's some pretty big names there for teen fans that are into the music scene. Is there a particular artist or band there that you're looking forward to meeting or playing with?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so excited to get to hear all of them. And I don't want to single anybody out, because I think that everyone who's playing is amazing. I'm a huge fan of Eben from American Idol. He's going to be playing in Madeline Bailey. Actually, I love her videos. She puts up some really cool stuff that she has on YouTube, and she's 19 years old, and she's just so talented, and I really like to listen to her, and just, all the other artists. It's so cool. There's such a variety of different styles that are going to be there, and then Dylan Holland and Peyton Sanders, they've been at almost all the Teen Hoots, and just they're always so much fun to watch, and I'm sure all the fans are just as excited as I am to see them, and I'm very excited that I'm performing on the same stage as just all the other artists. So it's gonna be fun.
Did they invite you, or is it something that you have to get in? Is it like a contest you have to get into the lineup?
Excuse me?
Is it something that they invite you to, or is it something that you can submit your music to and hope that you get into, or is it just an invite-only kind of event?
I think it's usually an invite-only, which is really cool, because the last Hoot that happened, I was like really hoping that I would be able to play, because the guy that runs the Hoot, his name is David, and I sort of missed the chance because they had already filled all the spots, but he contacted me. I didn't honestly expect it at all. He contacted me, and I already thought that he had the list finished of everyone who was playing, and he asked for me to play, and so I was really excited. But he goes, and he usually just finds all the people that he wants to play on YouTube or people that he's heard about, like if there's a buzz going on around town. So I was really excited.
One of your idols that you list is Taylor Swift, which is one of the big influences that you say you list, and I found that really interesting. What is it about Taylor Swift that that draws that you get influences from?
I admire Taylor Swift, like 100% everything about her. I really love her personality, the way that she handles herself. I think that she's just very like down to earth and so relatable, and I think that it's been really cool just like watching how she's able to put so much of herself into her music, and like I see her fans comment all the time, and they'll say like, "Oh my gosh, you must have stole my diary," like that song is about me. And for me, like I want to be able to capture that same feeling from someone else when they hear my music, and for them to feel like that's a part of them or it's something that they can relate to. And I think that she's just so good at that. And I mean, she's just so talented. Everything that she does always like hits the top. So
you got a chance to actually be in her music video. You Belong With Me. So what was that? What was that experience like? I mean, you got a chance to meet the person that's one of your biggest idols.
It was so cool. I did You Belong With Me it was a while back, and she's just so sweet, and it was so cool. I think that it only like gave me more like drive behind really wanting to chase after this. Seeing someone from the same place that I'm growing up now in Hendersonville, like start out and then reach the point that they're at now, and it was just such a really cool experience. It was a lot of fun. She came out while we were all just there filming the video, and just talked to everyone, and just made it a really cool experience. So
one of the things that you also allude to here in this this interview that I'm reading from is when you were younger, you used to listen to or watch a lot of Disney movies. Did you have a favorite Disney movie growing up?
Yeah, I caught something about Disney. Sorry.
When you were a kid, you used to watch a lot of Disney movies, like most children. Was there a favorite Disney movie? Excuse me, that you really enjoyed watching?
Yeah, I think my favorite Disney movie ever was probably Toy Story. I know that I tortured my mom because we had it when it was on VHS, and now everything's like DVDs. But I was too young to know how to use like the VCR, so I didn't know how to rewind it. So I would watch that movie over and over and over every day, and then I would make her rewind it for me while she was trying to like do her own stuff. And I love that movie. I think it's got such cool music in it, and it's just really cool. Like brings back childhood memories for me.
Speaking of childhood memories and stuff like that, do you write a lot about experiences in your life, and how much of your writing is experiences based on your own life?
I just really pull a lot from what I live and from what I see around me. Not everything is really stuff that I've always gone through. A lot of times there's something that I might see like in a movie or I might read about, and sometimes I just get like really inspired when I listen to other people's music, listening to the stories that they talk about, and it just gets like wheels in my head turning, and I just think about a lot of it is usually like love song stuff, because that's just something that like I'm really curious about right now, is just love and all that. And so I find all that stuff just really fascinating. And I was like one of those people that I just sort of watched other people's relationships in a not creepy way, but I don't know, like it just how some things work out and some things don't. Anyways, and I try to, when I'm writing my songs though, to leave it. I don't want to make things too personal, but I try to be personal at the same time. But I feel like sometimes if you put too much of yourself into something, then you're closing it off and people might not be able to relate. So I try to step back when I'm writing my songs and pretend I'm someone who's listening to it and try and think how the words that I write in the verse would make them feel, and when I'm going to the chorus, what I want to be like directed there, so, and how I want them to feel, and then step back into my shoes afterwards and see what's happened.
All right, Tyler, we're going to break in here with a question from Twitter. We're having people go on Twitter to tweet questions to you. So one question from Taylor is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
If I could have any superpower, I would love to fly. I think that would be really cool if I could fly. That would definitely make for really cool, like, effects at performances and shows.
Was that what you would use it? Would you use it just for skipping on the morning commute, or would you use it during a show?
Well, I don't know. I think it would make travel a lot easier too. I actually just got back. Well, when I was coming back from my Southern California tour, we actually drove back. I flew out there, but we drove back, and I'm a very antsy person. Once I hit like that 3-hour mark in the car, I'm like, we need to stop. I need to find a gas station just so I can like walk around and feel like I'm not trapped in a box. And so I think if I had the power to fly when I'm going to other places to do shows, I wouldn't get that feeling as much.
Speaking of your tour in Southern California, how was that?
It was so much fun. I got to play the Whiskey A Go-Go, which was like my favorite part of being there and doing the tour, because so many just amazing icons and so many legends have played there. And to be on the same stage as like The Doors and Janis Joplin and just anyone that you can possibly throw out of your mouth has basically played at that venue. And so it was really cool. I got to play at the House of Blues and then just some other venues. I played in LA and San Diego and Orange County. So it was just like Southern California, basically, but it was a lot of fun, and just getting to make new fans, and that was the first time I'd ever been to California, and it was so nice, and the weather there is amazing, and I'm really excited to go back. So,
you released your album Wonderstruck back in November of 2011. Talk to me about the album and explain to me, if pretend I'm a listener that's never heard the album before, what do I hear on it? What can I expect to hear on it?
Excuse me, sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
Talk to me about your album Wonderstruck. Yeah, it was released in 2011. So talk to me about the album. What's on it? What can listeners expect to hear on it?
Well, Wonderstruck, when I was like writing all the songs for that, I was just trying to really focus on like finding my style and developing who I am, and I think people can find a lot of stuff that definitely shows who Tyler Matl is, and there's some really fun songs, and I think that it's going to give them like a taste of just the beginning. I've been like working on a lot of really fun new stuff, and in studio recording some stuff, and been doing a lot of writing, and I feel like so much that I've grown since doing Wonderstruck. I think that people are actually going to be really surprised, but I think that they're sort of just going to get to see the beginning of the bigger picture that is yet to come. But Filthy Liar is the single for Wonderstruck, and that was probably the most, I'd say, like, personal song that I had on there. And I was writing it. I wrote it in like 15 minutes, and that's my single, and it's hit the first worldwide chart that I hit was the IMN charts, the Independent Music Network, and it hit both the country and mainstream charts. And it had been in the top 5 for a long time, and then the top 10, and it's still on both charts, so people can vote. But for at least a month and a half to 2 months, it's been on both of them. And I wrote that one just in like 15 minutes. I had so much emotion going through me at the time because what had happened was I had just broken up with a girl, and well, I broke, and then my best friend got with her without me knowing, and so it was a really awkward thing. So I was like so like upset and frustrated and all this stuff that I literally just like sat down and turned on my recorder, and the song sort of wrote itself. And then Wonderstruck, the title track, was probably, as far as like the songs that I play from the album, is like my favorite to play from the album because it's the most upbeat, and it's got such a light, fun feeling to it. And I think that people can just expect a little bit of everything on there. There's songs about a little bit of everything. So,
what's the best part about living in Nashville?
The best part about living in Nashville is definitely just that, you know, I get to be able to just be around what I love, around music, and that I have the opportunity to, you know, I feel privileged that if I want to go and do these shows, that it's right there. And, you know, I just can basically like grab the bull by the horns and just go with it. And there's so many people to connect with, and like other songwriters, and all the exposure that that comes from being in Nashville. And there's so many great things to do as far as learning. I know that the last girl you had on, Tallulah,
yep,
was saying that she had been in Nashville and was at one of the things at NSAI, and I absolutely love NSAI. They're a really great resource, along with a lot of the other just different businesses and corporations that are here in Nashville that really help artists to just evolve and to succeed in the industry. And yeah, so I just think my favorite thing about being in Nashville is just that you have resources you need to be in the music industry.
Is there one venue that you'd really like to perform at, whether it's in a year or any time in your career? Is there one venue that you just always wanted to play at?
Madison Square Gardens.
Fair enough. That sounds like a pretty good answer. Any particular reason?
Huh?
Any particular reason?
I mean, it's huge. It's like the epiphany of like, for me, I tell myself, when I can sell out, it doesn't even matter, like, to me. Well, I mean, it definitely matters, but as far as how much time it takes to sell out, when I can just sell out Madison Square Gardens, that's when I'm going to look at myself and say, you've made it. Until then, I'm just going to like keep working as hard as I can.
How important has social media been for you? You've got a lot of followers on Twitter. You're pretty active on the social media front. So, how, in your own words, how important has social media been for your career?
Well, social media, I think, is a really big part of the industry nowadays, because everything has changed so much since then. I mean, you used to have records, and then CDs, and cassette tapes, and now everything is like on the internet, and you know, everything is just changing. And so for me, I really had to learn how to go straight to the source and get to the fans through the internet. And it's been such a fun thing, though, because when I first started, I remember thinking, like, for the first little bit of time that I was trying to get all this stuff going with social media, like, this is so frustrating, this is so hard, like, I don't understand it. And then I sort of stepped back and looked at what other artists who were are up and coming, like Austin Mahone, or like some of the other people at the Hoop Fest, like Dylan Holland, and looked at like what they're doing, and even just like people have already made it, like Justin Bieber, and like observe what they're doing, and then like you start to just apply it. And for me, taking the time to really like tell my fans how much I appreciate them, because without them, like, not all this stuff would be happening. But you know, when you make that connection to your fans, something like amazing happens, and then, you know, they start to tell their friends about your music, and it's been so cool to see how everything has progressed since when I first started to where it is now. And it's honestly not how I expected that it would happen. Like, I didn't really think that now, like, even even where I am now, that like I would have as many fans who are so supportive of me, and I'm just very grateful for it. And it's actually gotten to a point where it's like I love to get on there and just talk to them and to let them know what's going on, and to be interactive with them, because I think that it's so much fun. So
one question off Twitter here is are you going to be going on tour anytime soon, and will there be what kind of cities will you be going to?
Well, I'm actually on July 9th. I'm going back out to California, and I've actually got some shows out there that I'm going to be doing, and I'm working on another music video, which I'm really, really excited for, and I'll be posting about soon and letting everyone know what song it's for. And then just to do some more recording and some writing, and just getting material ready for when I release another album. So after that, I think I'm going to really focus on like touring in states, like locations to go to. I've really had so many people on like Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube and all these sites asking me like, when are you going to come to Chicago? When are you going to come to Pennsylvania? When are you going to come to Indiana and New York and all these different places? And it's been really cool, and like I'm seeing more and more and more people in the same place, and so I definitely really want to go to all these places and perform there. So,
is there a venue outside of the United States that you'd like to perform at?
Excuse me?
Is there somewhere outside of the United States that you'd like to perform to, whether it's Canada, England, you know, UK?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would love to just someday, hopefully very soon, to just be able to go on a world tour and to just perform all across the globe. One of the places that I absolutely, when I do go on a world tour, the place that I absolutely want to go to is Australia. I want to go to Sydney, Australia. That's where I would go. Like, if I could just go on a dream vacation, would be Sydney, Australia. So to go there, I'd be fulfilling like 2 in 1. I'd be playing there and seeing the place, and I definitely want to go to like the UK and just hopefully, you know, I hope that I can be fortunate enough to really just be able to perform for fans all across the globe. I think that I would be like very amazed if my music reached that many people, and to know that I could impact that number of people with my music, that'd be really cool. And to have that opportunity, I'd be very thankful for that.
Tyler, my final question for you tonight is there something about yourself that your fans don't know about you that's fun and quirky? Something maybe you collect something really, really cool. Is there anything about yourself that your fans don't know?
Well, I think maybe a few of my fans might know this, but I never really have talked about this. But I'm like addicted to hot sauce.
You're addicted
and
to hot
I put
sauce.
it on everything.
Do you drink it straight from the bottle?
Well,
Can you drink it straight from the bottle?
Yeah, I have before, but I mean, I love it. My parents, they think I'm really strange because I'll put it on the weirdest stuff, like macaroni and cheese, or like eggs, or like just random stuff you wouldn't expect. But that's something about me that I don't think all my fans know, but everyone who's listening, you now know that.
Do you have a favorite type of hot sauce? Is there a particular one that you just have to have?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love Tabasco sauce. That's the best.
There you go. Perfect. All right, Tyler. Well, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. But before you go tonight, how do people that have never, ever heard of you before get a hold of you on the internet?
Well, just thank you again, by the way, for having me.
You're very welcome.
I absolutely had a blast, and it's really cool to be doing this interview. I know you guys are out in Canada, so that is really cool. People can get a hold of me on Twitter at Tyler Matl, but my last name is spelled Matl, or you can just look me up on Facebook. I have a like page, and it's almost at 10,000 now, so people can go on there and like my page. And just on iTunes, if you look up Wonderstruck, that'll pull up my music, and you can get sort of an example of, well, you can just hear what I do. So,
one last question before we go from a fan that I didn't see until just now that I kind of want to ask is, did you ever feel like giving up while writing a song, and what made you keep trying?
Well, there's been a few times where like I've gotten frustrated because I think I've gotten like writer's block, and I'm trying to write a song, and I know what I want to say, and I know how I want it to sound, but for some reason I can't like put the words from like thought down to paper, and it's so weird because it's like you know what you want to say, but you can't find the words. And what I usually do when I find myself in a situation like that is I just like walk away, and I come back like maybe a day later and sit down, and I've come to find that when I give myself like room to breathe, that I actually can be so much more focused because I'm sitting down and I'm not focused on the fact that I can't figure out what to do. I've just like cleared my mind, and I'm never 100% given up on anything. I think that no matter what, my like view is if you're gonna do something, just do it and don't worry about how it comes out in the end. Just know that you gave it everything you have.
Perfect. Well, Tyler, thank you very much again for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Just thank you to all my fans for listening and for your questions. I had so much fun answering them, and I love all of y'all, and I hope all of y'all have a great night tonight.
Well, Tyler, again, thanks for coming on, and you're welcome on the show anytime.